Robbie, by the way, people are wanting, like, all the time, people are hitting me up for Robbie to answer for his crimes. They say they want him on here to answer for his crimes. I don't know if he will. Look, in fairness to Robbie, he was on Tua was on his hit draft room list. He was just rats off the ship very quickly.
Fraud.
And said he wasn't a blacksmith. He also called Jalen Waddle fake fast. But that's all over now. It's in the past.
What does Robbie know about fast?
I don't know. He's a scout. You know, he's boots on the ground. He goes to like Kane spring games and all that. We will do another summit, Robbie, of course. Dolphins receipts is getting. Have you seen this? It's like a freezing. It's a local freezing cold takes, basically.
I love this Twitter account.
And it's getting people hot. Are you seeing some of the reaction that some of the reporters are having to this? Like, it's, you know what? Look, I don't know if I'll ever end up on Finn's receipts. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I've said a lot of crazy stuff, but I was always on the Tua train. Our Tua. But man, if I ever was that off on thing, I would just laugh. You know what the thing is? People get really bothered when they're wrong about stuff. They have a problem just saying they're wrong when they should really just learn to change the goalposts. Like when you move the goalposts,
like you,
yeah, then you're never wrong. You just or you find caveats or loopholes. But these people don't know how to do it, and so they're freaking out, and because of this Finn's Receipts Twitter account, which is calling everybody out. It's amazing. I really, really enjoy it.
It's one of the Tua receipts.
Yeah.
I love those.
Oh, you're talking about did you see that, Steve, of the game this past week? A guy brought to the game a sign that was Tua receipts.
I actually have it.
Yeah. Can you put it up, J-Fig? It was this fan who has this lovely hair. And it was a chart of all of the bad Tua takes there have been. Do you have the close-up of it, J-Fig?
Yes, I do.
So we can read some of these? Because it was masterful. So it's what the hell's the guy's name? Jacob Ratner 12 on Twitter. If you guys want to go give him a follow. And he's got like Skip Bayless, Chris Sims, who can go to hell, Portnoy. Who else you got on there? You got Keyshawn Johnson.
I love how Brian Flores is there.
I like how Brian Flores is there too. And then there's even like somebody like Big Cat from Barstool. He's like he's reformed. It's like he's found Jesus. He's found Tua. The religious experience.
That's why he hasn't X'd out.
That's why he's X'd out. He's learned. He's answered for his crimes. If you are not on the Tua train, there's still hope for you. But you must answer for your crimes. Don't act like you were here the whole time. All right, we're not going to sit here at this party and just be like, "Oh, he's been here all the." No. That's not how it works. So if Chris Sims wants to get on the Tua train, he can, but he must confess. He must confess and repent because he had Jarrett Stidham as a higher ranked quarterback.
I also love how he included quotes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Did a great job. Let me see if I can get this. It's a little bit small for my. There we go. He put, for Skip Bayless, Tyreek Hill is doing the impossible, making Tua look good.
That's the quote that I gave him a oh no for, I think it was.
Yep. Chris Sims, he has the quote, Taysom Hill is a better quarterback than Tua. That's a good receipt.
-1.
That's an awful take.
Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool.
He's a Sully. Screw that guy.
Tua stinks. Mac Jones is better. Woof.
-1.
Omar Kelly. Tua's teammates think he's a weirdo. That was a very weird thing for Omar to reveal.
That's very mean.
It was so random.
But that's what he does, though.
Very strange.
He does have like that little side note.
Did you see the mic'd up video with Tua that the Dolphins
I did.
put out?
Loved it. It seems, I don't know. It seems pretty beloved.
There was actually a great tweet where someone showed a mic'd up from last year with him and Brian Flores, where it was just him saying like, "Yep, yes sir."
Yeah,
yes, sir.
no, I saw that.
Being all like,
yes, sir,
not fun.
And then he lovingly calls Mike McDaniel boss, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you think, boss? We're going to do, boss." Mike with Flores, it's sir, yes sir, yes sir. Well, Mike McDaniel, who calls him dude, which is,
I mean, because he's
how many coaches call their players dude?
Because he's 2 years older, right? Like
I feel like he would call anyone dude. Though.
Like you having a conversation, he go, dude.
By the way, these headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Mike Florio.
You think they know cable?
No, I don't think they do.
You
I
think
don't
they
think
go
that's
fiber
that's not their
optics?
slogan.
Probably
No.
better than AT&T though.
Mike Florio. I don't think Tua is going to magically become better. He can't be fixed.
So
Ah!
here's my question. Nobody of all these receipts, nobody said any of this before Tua got to the NFL.
Nope.
And if you didn't believe that beforehand, you can't come up with mysterious things to make Tua bad. For example, you don't just lose arm strength in the first 2 years of your career unless something happens.
You mean like catastrophically breaking your hip?
But that's what my point. My point. If they would have said, you know what, I'm not necessarily bullish on Tua because I want to see how he returns from the hip. That's a whole different conversation. But to just all of a sudden tack all these things on to Tua that weren't there when he was healthy, that's what drives me crazy. You have people that have been around this sport for far too long and are commenting about a guy who wasn't healthy, right? And just oh, he doesn't have a strong enough arm. Oh, he doesn't. Were you saying that when he was at Alabama?
You want another one?
Sure.
Chris Long. Tua can't throw Tyreek Hill the ball. Derek Carr is better.
You mean the crybaby?
Yeah.
Oh, we're trying so hard. Try harder, dude. The hell out of here.
So my thing is this.
Wait. Can I give you another one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike Tannenbaum.
You know he was all over Justin Herbert.
Love Justin Herbert. And a lot of people were patting him on the ass saying that he got that one right. Here's what he said. I've never been in on Tua. 14th best quarterback in the AFC.
So only 17 teams? Oh, 16 teams?
Yeah.
Huh.
14th. 14th.
And that's why he doesn't have a job anymore.
But
That's why you sit next to Mike Greenberg on Jet Up.
but here's the funny thing. I hope none of these guys have MVP votes. Because if they're anything like you,
Team Petty.
they ain't gonna vote for just because they're gonna make them look wrong.
Stephen A. Smith. Tua is miniature sized. He can only throw 2-3 yards.
It's just like
He's also a squirrel.
so my thing is this. Is anybody gonna hold them accountable for just being
But
dead ass wrong?
I think this
Dolphins
is what Dolphins Receipts is doing.
Okay.
They're a Dolphins centralized freezing cold takes.
Okay.
And these people, before you got in here, I was just saying, people are getting sensitive over this.
Somebody said read Mina Kimes.
Oh, Mina Kimes. Tua almost throws interceptions. Doesn't take care of the ball. One game.
78%.
One game against the Steelers.
78.
Had the best
Wait,
touchdown
hold
to
on.
interception
One
ratio.
game off the
doesn't
Steelers.
he have the best interception ratio?
He's only
Anybody
thrown
in the
like
league?
3
He met,
interceptions. all
well,
season.
first of all, I've never heard of almost interceptions until this year. I've never heard of it.
Right.
Never heard of it.
Right. And it's just to make your point that you would go and venture down a path that's never been traveled just to make your point. That's why they play defense. They can't catch.
That's true.
So you take chances.
He almost doesn't. He had one game where he threw a lot of almost interceptions.
His first game back after
the first game, yeah.
after his brain was concussed.
The first game back after getting stretchered off the field. Excuse him. Excuse him for a little rust. Excuse him.
You know what?
What's he done since?
You know what? What? I'd be amazed at how people, in general, would be able to function on a daily basis if you were critiqued at your job like this, right? It's amazing. Like, Robbie was wrong, right? Look, I never said Tua was going to be good, but I said we can't come to that conclusion until he's healthy. That's it. And I also said you don't just lose arm strength like that. There's another reason why. If you think he has a weak arm, it has to be because of his hip, because nobody complained about him having a weak arm in college.
Crazy.
Which was 2 damn years ago.
Hey, parents, keep your child active this Black Friday by training with the pros. The Miami Dolphins are hosting a fall session of the Junior Dolphins Football Clinic presented by FAIR on November 25th. It's taught by the Junior Dolphins coaches. This half-day clinic is available for boys and girls ages 7 to 14. Space is limited. Visit juniordolphinsfootballcamp.com/camps to secure your spot today. Got another annoying thing that ESPN did with the Dolphins. The entire Dolphins team, not just Tua, the entire Dolphins team that's on the front of their webpage today. Get to that next. We'll get back into the heat in a little bit. Tommy Hunt's going to join us, but I wanted to get to this. So ESPN did a piece today. What teams are unlucky and what teams are lucky?
Oh, don't why? Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Here's how you determine the lucky teams versus the unlucky teams. Go to the team that leads the league in turnovers, because it's not a transferable stat. Some years you just are very good at it, and other years you're not. But it has a lot to do with your opposing team, and you get lucky.
Bill Barnwell says, lucky, unlucky teams in 2022, how 9 teams can improve and decline. But I'll just go right to the Dolphins, and then if you want to ask about others, I'll let you know who else they think is unlucky and lucky. But the Dolphins, they have declared the Dolphins lucky. Lucky Dolphins.
Can I have
He
an
goes,
explanation, please?
-1.
What has gone right? 1-score games and hidden special teams. He writes, Dolphin fans are rightfully over the moon. Tua Tagovailoa has been the league's best quarterback on a snap-by-snap basis this season. Mike McDaniel looks like the right head coaching hire after years of disappointing decisions. The defense has struggled, but Miami has won every game that Tagovailoa has completed so far in 2022. If anything, given that the Dolphins lost 3 games, Tagovailoa mostly or entirely missed because of a concussion, Fin supporters might feel like they've been unlucky. You're right, Bill. Something tells me you're going to swerve me. While the Dolphins are a legitimate playoff team and a contender in the AFC East, I would argue that they have been fortuitous timing for stretches. They are 5-0 in games decided by 7 points or fewer, including comeback victories in consecutive weeks over the Ravens and Bills. In the wins over the Bills and Steelers, they had to come up with a red zone stop to win.
How's that lucky?
Heavens to Betsy. Oh, you mean the Dolphins were clutch? Oh.
I don't know what the number is on this, Steven. I don't even know if you could check. But I would say 70% of all NFL games are 1-score games.
The Lions and Bears had fourth-quarter drives to try and take the lead, only to come up short. Josh Boyer's defense deserves credit for coming up with those stops, but it's curious how it has struggled so often for long stretches in games and then sealed up shop exactly at the right time. I didn't realize, I'm sorry, is it a 60-minute game or is it a 56-minute game? Like, when does it, does the clock stop?
Again, the thing that makes me mad is these people spend so much time around football, and yet the nonsense that they put out there makes it seem like they're just doing a piece on football and they work for CNN. Right?
On the whole,
it's just they're columnists.
On the whole, the Dolphins ranked 26th in defensive EPA per play allowed when they're leading.
What the hell is EPA? Gas mileage? I get good EPA.
English Premier League? What?
What are we doing?
When they're leading by 7 points or fewer in the fourth quarter, though they have the league's 8th best defense. What's weird about those red zone stops is that Miami otherwise has been abysmal inside its own 20-yard line. It has allowed teams to convert touchdowns on 68.8% of their red zone possessions, the 4th worst mark in the league. The Dolphins only have 3 stuffs for 0 points in 30 red zone attempts this season. A stop at the 1-yard line against the Ravens, from the 2-yard line against the Bills, and an interception from Kenny Pickett in the Steelers win. They needed all 3 stops to win those games. But somehow that's lucky. Miami has also benefited from sloppy play on special teams. While it has fielded the league's worst special teams by DVOA.
What?
Well,
through 10 weeks.
And just to get to Leroy's question, 8 games this week were 1-score games.
Right.
Wow.
DVOA, dead on arrival?
It has gotten help from a source I wouldn't typically consider, a subpar opposing punting. While opposing kickers have been above average.
I'm sorry, this article should be called # Let's Make Stuff Up.
While opposing kickers have been above average on field goals and extra points, Punters facing the Dolphins are only averaging 41.9 yards per punt. Once that would be embarrassed. That's nearly 2 yards per punt below the second worst mark. Hey,
What the hell is 2 yards gonna do in a punt? You jackass!
I got a stat too. It's called the Dolphins don't punt. How about that stat?
Wait,
How about
do you
How about our
understand
punter takes a nap?
that this guy put on paper the reason why a team is lucky
Punts.
is because punters average 2 yards less against them. So if they had average league average, which is 43 yards, I'm assuming,
Yes.
that they would have lost more games. Say that out loud to yourself.
Talk about reaching.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, I'll give you some more of this, but we got to take a break because Tommy Hutton's going to join the show. But that is some whoppers by Barnwell. Woof.